Hey guys, this is Susan with Pack Leader Dog Training, and I'm here with Rachel Kohler Dog Training for our weekly Q&A. And I believe it's Q&A number 19, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Almost to 20.
Right? I decided to have Gaia with me, but I should have waited till next week so it could be like, oh, Q&A 20, Gaia's here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's all right. We love seeing her face, her stupid, cute
Look
face.
at her. Like, what are you doing? Okay. She's so cute. I can't stand it. All right. So let me stop being distracted by my dog because she's so cute. And dive into question number 1.
Sounds good.
All right. So I'm not finished binge watching your Q&As yet, but I wanted to see if you had any suggestions on what you use as high value treats.
Sure. So first of all, thanks for watching the Q&As. It's pretty awesome to know that we have a follower out there. So for high value treats, I will use the Pure Bites, which is a brand of training treats. They're just dehydrated proteins, and they're really awesome because it's just a single source. So if I get the, let's say salmon, it's just salmon dehydrated. But they have chicken. They do have beef, though I try to stay away from like beef and mostly chicken because dogs sometimes have allergies to those. But I'll use the Pure Bites, so it's just dehydrated proteins. Or I know I used to use hot dogs, but if you don't dehydrate them, they're messy. And if you dehydrate them, they take forever, at least for me. It took hours and hours. So I tend to stick to those. Or honestly, for a high value treat, because I use the dog's daily kibble, the dog was crinkling a bottle in the background. So because I use the dog's daily kibble for like regular working, I'll tend to use just like the regular treats from the market actually. Like I'll use Pure Bites, or I'll use like Moist and Meaty, or you know those, it's kind of like the McDonald's version of dog treats, just because I'm only using it for something that's really challenging for the dog, and so the drive tends to be up because they smell extra stinky. But what about you?
Yeah, so as far as actual treats go, yeah, I used to use the raw hot dogs as well. They just get slimy and gross, so I started dehydrating them, but it takes forever, so stop doing those as well. I've been ordering these off of Chewy. Is it backwards? It probably is.
No, that sounds good.
But yeah, I ordered these off of Chewy. They come in like gigantic pieces, and I cut them up really tiny. I like it because I can cut them really tiny, so I can give the dogs a lot of treats, and most of them really like them. It's just dehydrated pork liver. So that's my go-to. And then if I have a dog who's like really stubborn, like Susan says, I can get those Pure Bites because like the salmon's like really stinky. And then to throw in like an extra fun fact, if you're working with your own dog, using their daily kibble, even if your dog's not food motivated, is gonna work. So if it's breakfast time and you portion out a cup of their kibble and you go to try to train them and they're not taking kibble from you, then you just put the food away and then you try again at dinner time. So now they've missed breakfast. At dinner time, they're going to be like, all right, that kibble my mom's offering me is looking pretty good now. So when they're used to getting it for free every day, you're now asking them to work for it. So they probably maybe won't want to work for it the first meal, but by the second or third meal, they're going to want to work for it now because that's how you get your food. So that's how you increase the value of the kibble itself. And then like Susan said, when we're doing stuff that's extra challenging, I like to throw in treats. So like when I'm just doing whatever with Gaia, she'll work for her kibble, but if I'm working on something really challenging with her or my client dogs, like I'm going to give you a treat because you're working extra hard.
Right. One thing about what you said, where if you're using a dog's daily kibble and you portion it out and you go to work them and they're like, nah, don't then offer that as a meal. Rachel kind of implied it, but like don't give that then as a meal. Just wait until the evening and then do it through training again. And if they don't want their kibble then, okay, well, we're going to work at breakfast and you're going to work for your breakfast. But don't give them it as a meal. It's just for working now.
Right, because they'll learn, like, well, if I just refuse this, I'm going to get it for free anyways. And we're kind of changing that mindset that we want them to work for it. So thank you for clarifying that for me.
Ready to scooch?
Yes.
Okay. My 3-year-old Shiba Inu likes to chew on everything. and not just toys. She'll chew on anything she can find. Shoes, blankets, the remote. What chew toys do you recommend?
Oh, Shiba. Okay. I don't know. I feel like you need to say that every time I hear Shiba. I'm like, Shiba. Okay. So your 3-year-old Shiba is chewing on everything, not just her toys, but your house.
Yes.
So go-to thought is this pup is getting a lot of free time that he or she does not deserve right now. He or she doesn't know how to handle that free time, so they're making bad choices like chewing on your furniture and on your remote and on your blankets. So my go-to thing is going to be crate training. Like what? You asked for chew toy recommendations and I'm telling you to crate train your dog? Yeah, I am. I would recommend addressing that issue rather than supplementing or like adding in more chew toys, because adding in more toys isn't going to stop her chewing on everything else in the house. So I would want to address that by taking away some free time because they haven't earned it. And then if you catch them in the act of chewing something they're not supposed to, you can correct them. But I won't dive all the way deep into that conversation because I know I'm already off topic of the question. But I would be more concerned with why your dog is chewing up at your house than buying them more toys. It's just like a kid, like if a kid, not exactly, but like if a kid's throwing a temper tantrum, I'm not going to buy you a new toy to get you to be quiet. Mm-hmm. At least that's not my parenting style. I mean, I don't have kids and whatever, right. But that wouldn't be my go-to. I'd be like, let's address this temper tantrum. So let's address you destroying my house before I'm rewarding you with more toys.
Right, because they already have toys, so it's not for lack of toys, if that's your thought. Mm-hmm. And usually dogs will chew on something that they shouldn't because they have an anxious state of mind or because you never told them not to. They don't know. So I would have to see your dog's behavior to know which one it is. But like Rachel said, crate your dog because that's going to provide structure, like a calmer state of mind. And then my thought is, so you should notice when your dog's chewing on something they shouldn't, because if you don't, where were you? Why is this dog allowed to just roam the house when it chews on things that it shouldn't? So I would make sure that you're always monitoring it. And then when it grabs something it shouldn't, mark it with no, and then correct. After you correct, you can then give them something they can chew on. But don't, if you see them chewing on the remote, don't take the remote and then just give them a chew toy. Say no, punish for chewing on the remote, and now you can give them something they can chew on. So just remember the punisher in there. Because if you never punish for chewing something they shouldn't, they'll never learn not to. They're just like, oh, because there's no consequence. So
right. One more thing I want to add in. I know. One more thing. It might help. So adding in the crate training and watching the dog is good, right? The more work you can do with the dog to help their mindset, great. Another thing that might help is not leaving the toys out, because that gives the dog the idea that everything is mine when I want it. So by actually putting away your dog's toys, and then they could be in their crate or in a place command until it's playtime, then you release them, then you bring out the toy. Because now that toy is exciting because you've just brought it out. It's not the same toy that's been sitting on the floor since last week. It's new and exciting now. You can engage with them and play with that toy, and then playtime's over, put the toy away, and then back into a command. But when toys are just scattered out throughout the whole house, how is the dog supposed to know, well, I can, like, this is my toy, but this remote happens to be lying on the ground and it's like next to my dog toy, so like I can probably chew on this too. And just like you said, if he's never been corrected not to, they're not gonna know.
Right. Oh no, I just felt like this was
I know, I was just saying, I'm not talking about your dog, Susan's.
Personally attacking me.
No, do your guys chew up your house, Susan?
No. Okay. But I have like 3 toy bins. No, 4. I have 4 toy bins in my house. So I was like, that's a good idea, is to put some of the toys away. So it's like a special toy. I like that.
So what I'll tell clients when their dog is getting bored of toys, I'll say buy 7 toys. And then every day of the week, take out a new one. So then by the time you are repeating a toy, your dog hasn't played with that toy in a week, and they're like, oh my God, this toy is the best thing ever. But your guys don't have that problem. They'll play with the same toy every day. They have their favorites. Okay. Oh, it's my turn. I'm waiting for you to ask a question. I'm like, okay, Susan. How do I know what breed of dog is the best fit for my family?
Okay, so okay. If you are intrigued by a certain breed, so let's say you're like, well, I like labs, but huskies look cool, or maybe I want a Shih Tzu because they're small. So if you have some inkling as to what breeds you like, just do your research on them and see mainly what their exercise requirements are. Now, every breed has different personalities within the breed. So just because you get a golden doesn't mean they're going to be friendly and a family dog. And just because you get a husky doesn't mean they're going to want to jump your fence or dig holes in your yard. But so some stereotypes will show you the personality of that dog. So most huskies will want to jump a fence or dig a hole because they have a lot of anxiety. They just need to be doing something. So they need maybe more structure than Mastiff. You know, they're more like lazy dogs normally. But I would say do your research on the breeds. If you had a breed that you're intrigued by, research them and just see what their personality types generally are, because then you're prepared for the worst case scenario kind of thing. If you have no inkling as to what breed that you want, I would recommend asking a trainer personally. So I can't answer that question for you because I don't know anything about your family and your lifestyle. But I would recommend just like personally seeking out a trainer and just asking their opinion based off your lifestyle. What would you say?
I really liked what you said. So when I first saw this question, I'm like, I went to the later part of your answer. Well, I don't know your lifestyle, but I like yours. Like, well, if you've got some breeds that you're drawn to, do the research on those breeds and see if it's a good fit. So, like, for me personally, I think Mals are really super awesome. I know the research on Mals, and I know I'm not in a place to get one right now, so I don't have a Mal. So yeah, like, look through like a dog magazine or something. I don't know. See if something catches your eye and then research on it and see if it's going to be a good fit for your lifestyle. So like you said, talking to a trainer, like specifically like, yes, I want to get a dog. I want to go hiking with my dog 4 times a week. I like to swim. I like to do this. I like to do that. Cool. This more active breed is going to be for you. Or if you're like, I maybe want to take a walk in the mornings, not really long, hang out at the house, then okay, maybe go for a more chill breed. I do always like to throw in when talking about breeds, which is funny because it's like not what trainers usually think. They usually think what you think, like activity level and all that good stuff. Think about the grooming that's going to go into that breed. From working in the daycare industry for a couple years a while back, doodles have kind of been ruined for me because they were super trendy and people would keep on getting doodles and not brushing them or training them, but that's a different talk. But then you'd have these doodles who are covered in mats and just not well kept. And what people don't get is mats are painful for the dogs. Like they physically hurt the dogs when they're matted. So there's my little rant on that. Just when you're looking into a breed, also consider the grooming that's going to go into it. Because grooming is not like just a cosmetic thing. It's not something that you just do for your dog for looks. Like most breeds need, not most breeds, but like the long fur or the hair dogs, like they need grooming to keep them healthy.
You know what would be a good idea actually is if someone did want to talk to a trainer about it, is to do like that's what a Zoom consult would be good for. So like you offer your Zoom consults, you could do a 30-minute Zoom consult to discuss with that person like their lifestyle, what they want in a dog breed, and like all that stuff. So it just came to me. I was like, that's
Dang,
a really
thanks for boosting my Zooms.
Yeah, it's a good. Woo, I made
Offering
10
Zooms yet, Susan?
Just kidding.
Oh yeah, be like, so Susan told me to Zoom with you. She wants to make sure she gets her cut. Okay, we can do that, Susan. Hit me up. But that is a good idea. Like, I like when people, because that just shows the I don't know, initiative. Like it shows you're trying. You're wanting to learn. You're wanting to get the right fit for you and your family. So Sally, the border collie I have right now, she's in training with me. Her mom actually contacted me a week before Sally even got to her house and was setting up training with me. So like, I don't know, that just makes me happy because it's like you're doing everything in your power to make sure this is great for everybody. So,
right.
Anyone want to talk about what dog breeds to get? Hit us up.
Yeah, I would love to do a Zoom on that.
That would be fun.
All right. My puppy's distracted by all the snow we got and will not potty outside right away. Every time I take her out, she's smelling the ground and eating snow.
Me too.
Like,
no. So a couple things. So one preventative thing, which doesn't do us any good now because the snow is down. But I was thinking about that with Gaia today because she actually was having trouble going to the bathroom because of the snow. But I won't dive into all of her personal information right now. But we've done this before, is like setting a tarp down in an area and then it snows and you can move the tarp. But can't do anything with it now. So what I would suggest is if you've got your puppy on a good potty schedule already, where you take them out on a leash, you take them to the same spot, they go potty, and then it can be playtime. You would just do it like the same thing. If you don't already have that routine going with your puppy, it's okay. Like you can still do it. So I'm assuming you have a potty schedule with your puppy. So if you haven't been already, I want you to leash them up, take them outside when it's potty time. I'm horrible with timing, so I don't know, maybe 5 minutes, stand there, let them sniff. If they're on the leash, so they can't be acting crazy because that's the rule. So like no pulling and flipping and being crazy. Stand in the potty spot for a minute. If you don't go potty in like 5 minutes, go back inside, back in your kennel. Wait, I don't know, 5-10 minutes again. I have no sense of time. Leash up your puppy again, take them back outside just like you would in any other potty time situation, I think. And then once your puppy's gone, then you can like run around and play in the snow. But you got it once your puppy's gone. Once they've pottied, then you can run around and play.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly what my idea was. But so if the snow, sorry, I'm distracted because it is snowing right now again. So
my coworker is distracted by the snow and can't answer any questions. No.
Sorry, it's just so pretty out my window. I wish you could see it. So anyway, if it's already snowed, you can clear a path with the shovel, so clear it to where it's mostly grass. There's like a little dusting of snow, but at least it's not like piles of snow. So clear out like a nice patch where it's more grass than snow. And then, like Rachel said, when it's time to go potty, we're gonna go outside, walk on this grassy spot for like 5 minutes. If you don't go potty, then we're gonna go back inside, go in the kennel, wait 5 minutes. Now we're leashing you back up to go outside to that potty spot. Do that until the dog goes potty. Now we can go inside and have like some playtime. I would keep the playtime outside separately though. So see how I said we'll go inside and maybe play a little bit? That way you're not mixing play and potty time outside. It's very like, nope, it's potty time. Now we're going back inside. Like, just keep it clear cut.
Because I said that, and as I said that, I was like, no, you probably shouldn't just unhook them and then like release them to the yard. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So if you were like to go back inside and be like, okay, you potty, then you can go outside and play. But you want to like keep going until they get that potty in.
Right.
That's good. Really good. What are we on? 5? Okay.
5, yeah.
Another snow question.
Nice.
Do dogs like to play in the snow? Is it too cold for their feet?
Sometimes, and depends on the dog. So, no thank you. Go on. Little's destroying her toy, so we're just gonna stop that. So I have 2 dogs in my house. They both enjoy the snow. So you'll know a dog enjoys the snow because they're like running around, they're playing in it, they'll eat it, they'll throw it around. It's really cute. You'll know a dog doesn't like the snow because they'll go out to go potty and then they'll go right back to the door. So if the dog does that, I'm not gonna force you to play in the snow because like I hate the cold weather and I get really cold really fast. So I'm assuming the dog doesn't like that either because otherwise they're going to do what they want to do. So if they wanted to play in the snow, they would. So if they go to the door, I'm gonna let you go in. So yeah, some dogs enjoy playing in the snow, and they do so. Is it too cold? So you'll know it's too cold when your dog actually starts to limp. Because my dog Little will do that. She loves the snow. She'll play in it, she'll lay in it, she's a nut. But after a little bit, she'll be standing there looking like she wants to play, but her one paw is up. So it's just too cold, and then she'll shift them and put the other paw up. And I'm like, no, let's go inside. So now she has longer hair. If you had like a pit bull like Gaia, the dogs with the short hair, so like pitties, pugs, mostly pitties, because they'll have like pitties and pitties. They have like a bare belly. You know, they seem to get cold, So you can always put like a sweater on them or something like that, but just pay attention to your dog. Even with the sweater and booties on, does your dog race back to the door? They just don't want to be outside. That's okay.
Right. Yeah, so I agree with everything you said. What was I gonna say? Yeah, like with Gaia, if she would, let me tell you, this dog, if she was downstairs with me while I would open the freezer door, she would shiver, like very dramatically, like shiver, and it happened on more than one occasion, so it wasn't a coincidence. I'm like, you're so special. So I was expecting her to hate the snow, but she actually liked it, so that was fun. But again, because like she's got like no fur, so I did limit our time out there just because it's like we're not going to be out here all day. If you were a newfie, then sure, we could play outside all day long, but you're not. So yeah. And then, yeah, everything you said, you got it all. She said, I'll play outside for my ball now.
So I've been using a slip lead for my young boxer puppy until we can use a prong collar. She walked well in it at first, but it's now pulling on it. Should I use a harness?
So, let's see. You've been using one for a while, but you're waiting for it to get a little older to start with the prong. Depending on how old she is, you can probably switch the prong. I think prongs are like, I don't know, for an owner, maybe like 16 weeks or so. I don't know. But okay, so I wouldn't want to switch to a harness because that's going to encourage the pulling. So I'll just like put that out here. I'm not a fan of harnesses because if you think of sled dogs in the topic of snow, if you think of sled dogs, they wear harnesses to encourage the pulling because it evenly distributes the pressure on their body and it lets them pull harder. So what you can do with the slip lead then, so if you're not going to switch to a prong yet, or if you're waiting for your trainer to switch to a prong, when using the slip lead, you can still teach your dog pressure on, pressure off. It's not going to be as easy if you had the guidance of a trainer and with the prong collar, but it's still the same idea. So your puppy is pulling on the slip lead. You're just not going to move. So your puppy's not dragging you around because puppy doesn't have that power. So you're standing there, puppy's pulling on the leash. You can make like squeaky sound if you want to like help them out. But as soon as they come towards you, as soon as they yield to that pressure, you make sure you let go of the pressure on the leash. So with the slip lead, you'll have to like give into them a little bit. So you make sure it lets go of the pressure. Puppy comes towards you. Good job. Here's a treat. And then you can do a few games like that to just teach them to yield to the pressure. Because dogs have what's called opposition reflex. Susan made an amazing post about it, so check out Pack Leader Dog Training and her post on opposition reflex. It's a little pitty pulling on a leash. Because she's going to continue to pull against that slip lead unless taught otherwise. Same as a harness, she'll continue to pull against it, but with the harness, she can pull harder and longer. So chat with your trainer and maybe check out some videos on what would be a good video on that? Introduction to prong collar. I think you have a video on that, don't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So kind of the same idea, just teaching them to yield to that pressure would be my suggestion.
Mm-hmm. And so the other thing that I suggested for them was when she gets to the end of her leash, if you do like a slight pop and then walk the other way. So it's kind of like 180, but like the puppy.
180.
Yeah.
I like it.
Like, here's the correction. We're walking this way now. And I told them you might have to do it several times because the puppy's going to be like, pew, like walking this way, pulling. So you'll have to do pop. And now we're walking this way. Well, now the puppy's going to race to the end of the lead and pop this way. And you're like, no, pop. And then you were walking that way. So you probably have to do it like 3 times or so until the puppy's like, oh, every time I pull, I'm going to get popped. And then we're going to go the opposite way. Yeah.
I'm going to stay in your bubble.
Yeah.
I like that. And that takes out the whole opposition reflex because there's no constant pressure against them. So I like that. Little puppy 180s. You're going to fall. I put my beanbag chair up here. Yeah, she's on the edge of that. Where are we at? 7?
Yep.
Okay. What's y'all's opinions on dogs wearing clothes?
Sure, why not? That's it. Next. No. Yeah, dogs wearing clothes, cool. If your dog enjoys it, cool. If your dog really hates it, you can counter condition them to not hate it. if you really want them to. But I always thought it was cute. I don't do it because my dogs are bigger and I spend my money on toys rather than clothes. I do bandanas though, for little.
Cute.
Yeah, it depends on your dog. So, yeah, do it.
Yeah. Yeah, so anyone who follows me on the Instagram sees I post pictures of Gaia in sweaters. So I'm all for it. I think, like you said, like if the dog's cool with it, like it's not going to prohibit training in any way. It's not going to encourage any bad behaviors or anything like that. It's just clothes.
Right.
So if your dog's down for it, like that's fine. Gaia, I don't think cares at all. Like I'll hold it up and she'll come and stick her head in it by herself and I'll get her dressed. She's excited to go outside. My parents' dog, Blue, he's just excited for the sweater. And how do I know this? Because he'll put his sweater on and then run to go back downstairs. He just wants to wear the sweater. Or if like the sweater's on the ground, he'll run over and lay on top of it because he wants to wear it. He is a special guy. I like this question because I recently found out that some trainers are like extremely against it, and it makes me laugh because it doesn't
affect anything. Yeah.
Now I'm not gonna lie, like if your dog hates a sweater, I mean, yeah, like you said, you can counter condition them to it, but we gotta remember that's usually more for us. So unless you've got like a 3-pound Chihuahua or something, they probably don't need a sweater. It's just fun. Like Gaia goes out in the snow with a sweater and without one. Depends on if I feel like putting it on her.
Right.
But it just made me laugh when I found out how opposed to it some trainers are.
I'm crazy to hear a lot of the stuff that some trainers find not right. I don't know.
Right.
I'm like, just stay in your lane, do your own thing. I don't know.
Yeah. It's just weird because it doesn't hurt anybody. So just like me, like the clothes I wear, like I could wear an old t-shirt or a dressed up shirt. I'm still me. I could still, I don't know. It's just weird to me. So yeah, if you want your dog to wear some clothes because it's cute, why not? You know, who's it gonna hurt?
Right.
Nobody. But yeah, that was fun.
All right. 8. In the winter, I'm not able to exercise my dog as much. I let him run around outside to burn off energy, but it doesn't seem to be enough. What do you guys do for your dogs in the winter?
So this trainer I follow called Pack Leader Dog Training just made a super awesome post about that. I would go check it out. She makes like really good posts, so if you're not following her, follow her. I
thank you for all the shout outs to my posts.
Oh yes, of course. They're really good, so I got them. What was the question? Oh yeah. Exercising the dogs in the snow. So like this lady Susan said, there's different options you can do. So you can treadmill train your dog. That's cool. I'll let you talk about that because I read your thing. But for me, it's like they don't need intense physical exercise every day. I know. What? I know. I'm going to be fired from being a trainer for saying that. No, they don't need crazy physical exercise every day. You can replace that or supplement that on days where the weather's gross with mental exercise. So if I have a day where I'm not going out in the rain, like we'll go out to go potty, but I'm not playing in the rain. I do not like it. I don't like it. So if it's raining outside, we're not playing ball. We're not doing nothing. We'll go outside to go potty and that's it. So on those days, trick training, that's exhausting, especially for this one. Trick training really wears her out. So we could do trick training or even just something as simple as a sit. You could do a sit duration or a place duration. Because even though your dog's not bouncing off the walls, they're still thinking because they are working. So just like me, I could sit down for 4 hours planning my new how-to series, right? That's work. That's exhausting for me. Or I could go to a volleyball game. That's also exhausting. So that I'm going to be worn out at the end of the day, no matter which one of those I do. Same for dogs.
I like that.
Could you plan my how-to series for me?
While you're in place?
Yes, could you plan my series for me, Gaia? Thank you. But yeah,
to just comment on the treadmilling there for a second. I do enjoy treadmill training because it makes you feel good because I know you feel that your dog needs exercise. And some people, when I tell them that their dog doesn't need vigorous exercise, they don't believe me. So if it makes you
We
feel
just make
better,
this stuff up.
yeah, if it makes you feel better to physically exercise your dog, the treadmill is an awesome way to do that. Some dogs, depends on the dog. Like if it's a puppy, I'm probably gonna take more time, like food luring you, conditioning you to like the touch of it. Um, and actually puppies, unless they're a scared puppy, they take to it really quick because they're so food motivated that they don't even realize they're walking until you start to take the food lure away, and then they're like, "Oh,
Wait a
I'm
minute.
walking on, yeah, I'm walking on this treadmill."
I love that because they just do it.
Yeah, but adult dogs, usually you could start with like the food luring, blah blah blah. This is awesome to be on this thing, and then once it starts moving, I say a majority of the adult dogs are just kind of startled by that. So you'll use like the prong collar and leash pressure to just get them to realize like pressure is on if you're too far back or if you're trying to get off of the treadmill. There's no pressure if you're just walking on this treadmill, right? So I tend to go a little bit quicker with adult dogs. But you can always treadmill train them in that way. They're on their treadmill while you're doing your yoga, or they're on the treadmill while you're doing your how-to series. I would recommend you be in the room with them. Like, don't put them on the treadmill and walk away.
100%.
But yeah, treadmill's cool for physical exercise. But I love.
And it's also.
Sorry,
I was gonna say it's also mental exercise too. Now, after your dog is like super used to the treadmill, it's gonna just be like going for a walk. It's not gonna be nothing. But like the first, I'm gonna say handful of times you do it, not only are they getting that physical exercise, but it's the mental exercise of like, why is the ground moving? You know, and they're having to really concentrate about, and holding that steady pace.
Yeah.
So it's hitting two birds with one stone there.
Yes. But I prefer to do mental exercise because then I get to exercise with them, as weird as that sounds. But like I get to engage with them, whereas on the treadmill, after they know the treadmill, it's kind of like that's their thing. But if I'm doing trick training or like just working them through speed drills or whatever, I'm a part of it too, and I get to mentally work my brain to be like, ooh, let me do this with you. So it's an exercise for both of us. So I much rather enjoy that over the treadmill, but the treadmill's there,
right?
If you need it.
I like it. This dog, I can't. You can't be here for the Q&As anymore because you distract me too much. What are we on, 9?
Yes.
I got another question about our opinions, Susan.
Nice.
What's y'all's opinions on people calling their dogs baby and saying dog mom and things like that?
So,
I've been dying to talk about this.
If I knew this was coming up, I would have worn my hoodie, my cut-off hoodie, that says #dogmom on it. So, obviously, I call my dogs my babies. I call myself a dog mom. When people ask me, hey, do you have kids? And I'm like, yeah, I have 3 fur babies, whatever. Because the words don't matter. I mean, to me, I treat them as though they're my babies, right? But in the end, I treat them as a dog. They're my baby dog, okay? So I don't sit them up and dress them up in cute little outfits and sit them at the dinner table and make a plate of food for them. That's not what I mean. I baby them.
Dress her up in cute outfits?
And sit her at the dining room table to eat dinner with you?
No.
But, like, I don't do that, but I baby them in dog ways. And I placate them in dog ways. So if you ask my family, they would think I'm a crazy dog nut. And they'd be like, oh yeah, Susan does all this crazy stuff for her dogs. What do they mean by crazy stuff? I don't know. Buy them a crap ton of toys? I sure do. Take them on walks? I sure do. Take them out to the stores? I sure do. Cancel? I had to cancel going to my niece's graduation because my dog got sick. Like vomiting, go to the emergency clinic. So like that kind of stuff, because they're kind of first. Joe, dogs, other people. But if you want to call them your babies, call them your babies. But the only thing I would say is treat them like a dog, though, because that's the best thing you could do for them. And then after that, you can call them whatever you want.
Thank you. So this is something So anyone who knows me knows that, like, I'll pretty much just say what I'm feeling most of the time. And
Now, were you always like that, or did that come with time?
I was not always like that.
Thank you.
I am much more outspoken than I used to be.
Yes, because I was going to say, I used to call my dogs babies and whatever, until, like, peer pressure. People were, like, making fun of me and telling me that, like, that's stupid, whatever. So anyway, I went through a period where I'm like, nope, they're dogs, they're not babies, whatever. And now I'm back to doing whatever the hell I want. So, sorry, go ahead and say your, you'll say whatever you want.
Yeah, because I'm going to say whatever I want, Susan. All right, so, you're freaking ridiculous. She's got herself turtled. Okay. So when Susan and I met, we were at this internship at this place at this state. That's Rhode Island. We've already said it. So we were there. We met there. Blah. And the people there were very against the whole baby dog mom thing. I very don't care. So I was talking with Susan. Like, we actually only knew each other for like less than a month while you were there, which is really weird to me. But anyways, we were talking, and I was like, man, I don't know how she feels about this, but I'm gonna just say it because this is like how I feel. And I was like, yeah, it's stupid that people don't like that because it's just words. Like, we tell owners this all the time. It's like, don't tell your dog no unless you're gonna follow through and teach him what no means. Or don't tell your dog sit unless you've trained him what sit means, because words are just words. So why is me calling my dog my baby or saying that I'm their mom affect anything when it's just words, when I treat her like a dog, when she's got boundaries and structures and blah. It doesn't look like it right now as she sits here next to me, but she does. So I remember you told me that somebody made a snarky comment about it, and then you are human and like it kind of like whatever. And I was like, man, I wish somebody would say something in front of me. And then like a week later they did, and I had a whole rant. I had a whole rant about like, it doesn't matter, it's words. So I, for Christmas, got a dog mom shirt, and I was going to wear it today. But I'm like, that was my question 9. And I was like, I can't keep my mouth shut about it until the end, so I didn't wear it today.
Right.
We'll have to plan to wear them next week so we can match.
Yes.
But yeah.
I love that shirt. Like, I love it because it's so comfortable. It's like a hoodie with cropped sleeves. It doesn't have sleeves.
Yeah, it's super cute.
It's just #dogmom. It's so true. Like, but then on the flip side, so, okay, we're just going into, like, personal whatevers here.
Why not?
But my family would think that I'm, like, a crazy nut for my dogs, right? And they're accurate.
You are.
But define crazy nut. So anyway, there's that. But on the flip side, I get people that think I'm the strictest, meanest dog mom ever.
I was just thinking that.
How does that balance out? How do you think I'm, like, a wuss for my dogs, and then on the other side think I'm this tyrant that, like, lets them have no fun? I don't understand. Because they have boundaries? Yeah, they sure do.
Yeah, and guess what?
Drop the F-bomb there. I saved it.
I was thinking the same thing was with the sweaters, because when I was looking at this question before we started, I'm like, people in my family think the same thing. I'm so strict and I'm so awful and I'm so horrible to my dog because she can't get away with doing whatever she wants, because we have rules, we have boundaries, we have structure. But literally, I freaking spoil the crap out of this dog. She's got 4 beds in my room and a kennel. And a whole bunch of buckets full of toys and sweaters and everything. How many times have we been to the vet since I adopted you? A lot? Okay. It's like, I will, like, give her my everything. This is my child. I will do anything for her. But guess who's going to sit at the back door every time before we go outside? Mm-hmm. You. Guess who's going to get away from me every time I tell her out? Her. Like, she's still got all these things that we do that are non-negotiable, right? So it is just funny because it's like they'll tell us we're, like, crazy strict, but then at the same time it's like, oh, you're crazy dogs. I don't know. It's funny. You're being a brat. You're so cute.
All right, well.
I know. Rant's over.
I love how these last 2 questions were, like, not dog-related, like, dog-related, but more, like, personal.
Yeah.
Because the last question, what's something that we may not know about you?
Well, I'm a dog mom, so, okay. I don't know. Yeah, first time. It sucks. I hate being a mom. Because he's always.
I hate being a mom. Someone's gonna take that clip out and then put it everywhere. I hate being a mom
hate being a mom. And I'll just tell y'all why. Because she's always sick and it makes me so sad. She got ear hematoma now. Okay. Anyways, so something that people might not know about me, I don't really got a lot going on in my life. So pretty much I train dogs. I like photography and I like art. So maybe people didn't know I like art. I haven't done art in forever, but
what art did you do?
I liked, my favorite class was my design class I took in high school. It was pretty much anything. So we could be working with clay one day, working with random stuff we found outside the next day, or whatever. It would be make something with like this material pretty much. And it was fun. Then I really got into painting. So that was my second favorite class. I usually took 2 art classes in high school, I think, because it was just what I liked to spend my time doing. So painting was also fun. Gaia's got a nice painting hanging up behind me. She takes after her mom. It's beautiful. But yeah, I mean, that's like pretty much my whole life is dog training, and that's just the way I like it. Like that's what makes me happy, so that's what I focus on like all the time. And like realistically speaking, I'm either like working on my dog training stuff or watching Netflix. And then, so, art and photography.
Yeah. Isn't that funny, though? Because, so this a dog trainer that her and I used to really follow regularly, they would always say their whole life, not dogs. Like, that's not their life. And I'm like, oh, is something wrong with me? Because that's my whole life.
Right.
That just makes you feel like something's wrong with you. Because, like, I don't know. Because people will say that.
That's why our families think we're the crazy dog people.
Probably. Because when I was, so one thing you may not know about me, but maybe you do, is I was a vet tech. And so when I was teching, I would work, so I had 10-hour days. So I'd work my 10-hour vet tech job. I'd go home and binge watch dog training videos or like Q&As from other dog trainers. So, and then I would go to work the next day and tell them about it. And the one technician, Heather, she was like, wow, Susan, I can't believe like you would do that, because when I go home, I don't want to hear anything about dogs. And I'm like, oh, because I want to hear everything about dogs. So
right.
And crazy.
It's funny because like you and I will have times where we'll be on the phone for like hours, or like after we record an hour-long Q&A, we'll talk on the phone for a couple more hours about dogs. And it's like we have been friends since what, August? I think 20. Yeah. So however long that is. And we pretty much just always talk about dogs. We never run out of things to talk about. We never get bored. It's like, I don't know, like dogs are life, man.
Yeah, no, like you're always learning. So we get to bounce theories off each other.
Yeah.
And then since I have my board and trained dogs, I'll be calling Rachel half crying in tears about what's going wrong. And so we'll get to talk.
I do the same.
That through.
It's just great. And yeah, I just like really love what I do. And you're the same way. And it's like, I think about this a lot, about how fortunate we are, like, to just, like, this is our life. I wouldn't rather be talking about anything else. I wouldn't rather be doing anything else. And, like, I get to wake up every day and do this, like, for my job.
Right.
How crazy is that?
Freaking cool. It's so cool.
One more fun fact, because I'm looking at them. I've got binders and binders and binders of all training notes. That's the one thing about me. I obsessively take notes.
Like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, like, you would watch someone's video or, like, a Q&A and take notes about what they were saying, right? Mm-hmm. Is that what those are?
Yeah, and then because I'm kind of have some OCD tendencies, I would write my notes, and then I would type them, and then I would make sure they were formatted appropriately, and then I would print them and put them in a binder. But it's like I think like just stupid things like that are like our 4-hour-long phone conversations about dog training. It's like, I don't know, like I would want to take my dog to someone who lives, eats, sleeps, breathes dog training and loves dogs so much, rather than someone who's like 9 to 5 o'clock, I'm done. Don't think about it again.
Right. Because so if we wouldn't have had one of those conversations, or one of the 10 conversations about Took, I don't think he'd be as good as he is now. I really don't. So Took, who is still here, he's been here for 4 weeks, longest board and train. his problem was barking at the door, and you wouldn't think that was like hard, right? Because if a dog's doing something you don't want, punish it. So you say no, correct, done. Now we can work on the rest of the stuff. He wouldn't care. He would literally scream through the punisher because it sucks, and then bark again. And you're like, what is going on? And so after a couple times of that, I'm not feeling good about it. So I'm like, we're done here. And he's not feeling good about it. So I'd be calling Rachel. Anyway, through the many conversations and like troubleshooting, really, down please. And through like troubleshooting, we got to the point where we actually counter conditioned the door so it's not such a terrible thing. Like, I want him to think, oh, the door? Food? Not the door? Who the hell? So we had to work on conditioning that response. And he's 13. So
you had a lot of stuff to paint over.
Yes. Like, we say any dog can be trained because they can at any age. But like, his patterns were so ingrained and his pictures were so ingrained that it's like he couldn't help but bark. Like, literally, you could see him. He's like, bark, because he knew.
I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, he's like, I shouldn't have done it, but I couldn't not. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's just cool because we've talked so much, we've been able to help this dog, which I don't think I would have been able to help without you. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. And on the topic of that, I want to just say again, like, how freaking amazing you are. Because if you were that...
Hold on 1 second. I was trying to comment you.
Okay, and I'm sitting here because I was waiting to compliment you.
Comment, and then commented me. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Susan. No, but like, seriously, if you were the type of trainer that clocks in and clocks out, like, I only get paid to train this dog for X amount of times a day, that's it, I'm done, we're only doing these sessions, not thinking about him when we're not working, just doing like the bare minimum. Or if you're that trainer who says it's my way or the highway, this is how it works, this is always how you stop a problem, always, my way always works, Chuk wouldn't be where he is now. But because we practice what we preach, as far as always being open and always wanting to learn and pick up on new like ideas and methods of doing things, you literally like had to put your, what is the expression, put your money where your mouth is with Chuk. So our go-to for correcting an unwanted behavior, I'm saying our go-to for correcting an unwanted behavior wasn't working for him. So we talked it through a lot. You did a bunch of research, and you found this new method that you want to try where you basically, I'm calling it clicker condition the door, so meaning the knock means here's your food. And like, you did that. Whereas other trainers might just be like, well, my way's not working. Is untrainable. I don't know. Or like, I don't know. So go you for all like the research and the work you put into him. And
thank you.
There. That's enough cheesy stuff. I'm going to have to cut that out of the Q&A. I don't want anyone to know I'm being this nice to Susan.
we have a repertoire that we need to keep up with, that we like pick on each other all the time, and we don't actually like each other.
Yeah, we had to tell that story.
No, you tell it. I want you to tell it.
Okay, fun fact, because we'll just talk about us, because I mean, if you've made it this far into the Q&A, you obviously think we're super cool and want to know about us. Let me shut up, I'm just kidding. Right. I think I'm funny. So Susan and I, when we were at this internship, we're very much alike. We're like pretty quiet, but if you get to know us, like, we're not. So we're sitting here in the middle of the training room at this internship, and I don't know what we were saying. We were just talking trash to each other, calling each other names probably. I'm pretty sure I like elbowed you or something. Mm-hmm. And one of the other trainers, I think there's two of them there, one of them was like, what did they say? They're like, oh my gosh, like, you guys need to calm down. They thought we were actually fighting. Yeah. And then we just kind of looked at each other like, I didn't realize anyone else was listening because I was like doing what we were doing. I'm like, oh my God, they thought we were being serious. And they're sitting there. Yes. And they're sitting there so uncomfortable thinking we're fighting. They're like, oh my God, we've got these interns that are fighting with each other.
And it probably really threw them off because we both were quiet. And especially before you came, like, I was quiet. Like, I didn't talk a lot. And so they're like, what the heck? These two girls that never talk are just like fighting with each other. Oh my God. They were just like, you guys need to calm down. Like, they're like, whoa.
Trying to like de-escalate the situation, and we're just sitting here like,
we're like, what?
Play fighting. Because we can both like be like so serious, like it's such a straight, like we're just like they think we're fighting, but and like inside we're laughing. It's fine.
But there were times, honestly, and maybe because of that, oh, excuse me, that I would be like, is Rachel serious? Like, I don't know if you ever thought that about me, but you would be so deadpan that I'm like, oh my god, does she really like? Because I would say a comment.
Try to follow through. Like when I take it too far, I like try to follow through with like, I'm joking, right? Maybe I didn't sometimes. Sorry.
Yeah, like I would say a comment, and you're like I would say that thing about I don't dress my dogs up, and you would be like, oh well, thanks, Susan, I do, but I guess you don't like that, so apparently I'm not a good dog mom. And then I would say something else, and you would still be so deadpan that I'm like, oh my god, is she really like offended that I said that? Like I didn't.
Yeah, I'd be like, yeah, don't talk to me now because I dress up my dog, so you're too good for me now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so sorry that I gave you a few scares. Didn't know that. I think I'm pretty funny though, and obviously like you do too, because like we're still talking. So.
Yeah, right. I'm just dragging you along because I don't have anybody else to talk to.
It's alright. You broke up with me over voice memo the other day, so.
I did.
Yeah, it's really mean.
Couldn't take her crap anymore.
Right. Another fun fact about us: we voice memo all the time because. If y'all have not noticed from this past like 10 minutes of us just talking, we talk a lot. We have a lot to say to each other, and like typing it out just isn't gonna do it. So we like voice memo all the time.
Yeah, I started voice memoing one day to her on Instagram because I didn't want to type. It's forever. We're texting like a paragraph, like this. So I would just voice memo it and then send it to her, and she's like, "Great, thanks, Susan. Now I'm addicted to voice memoing." So
yeah, I'll just do it to anybody now.
Our texts are just like voice memo lines. So funny.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
All right,
that was fun. I know, we're just like talking about us now. That was fun. So thank you everybody for watching. That was the end of our Q&A number 19. Since we're talking about like throwbacks, like it's crazy. Like I remember the first one we did because I was sitting here freaking out because there's no way I'm gonna sit here and record myself talking for anyone to watch.
And with Q&A number 1, we both knew the questions that were going to be asked.
We went over them. Like, we were like, okay, so when we asked this one, Susan.
Yes.
And
then with time, we realized we both have the same brain and we think the same thing. And even if we don't think the same thing, she'll just think of something I forgot. Or
that happens so often.
It's never like, oh, God, Rachel, I wouldn't do that. We literally think the same thing. So after like 3 or whatever of those, I talked her into now. I know the questions I'm asking her. She knows the questions she's asking me, but we don't know what we're being asked. So,
which makes it fun, and that's why a lot of times Susan asks me a question, and I'm like, I don't know.
And then, so honestly, I think we should we'll put it in our story, maybe tomorrow or the next day, so anybody that watched this Q&A can go to our story and vote. But we should vote if we should get that StreamYard thing so we can do these live. Because I would much rather do these live. I thought about that today.
Yeah. All right.
So,
okay, so here's the thing. Y'all watch this video. You've watched it all the way through. You watched us talk about our crap. And if you're watching at this part right now, I need you to go above and beyond for me to let me know that purchasing StreamYard is going to be worth it. So we're posted on our story. Vote if you want us to do that. And then leave a comment on our Q&A. Like, leave a comment and just let me know. Like,
because, like, the reason we're not doing it live right now is because we're going to have to pay for StreamYard, which allows us to be live on multiple accounts. So we could be live on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Is that right?
There's different tiers, but I think so. And I think we might be able to make it live on both of our accounts. But we'll have to see because there's different tiers that you can buy. Okay.
Yeah, so we just have to justify, is that worth getting? Because if no one's going to watch us, we're just going to waste our money every month. But so let us know.
Yeah. Because we like doing these and I like doing them like this and I'll be happy to do them live. If y'all like it. That's a good idea, Susan. So we'll post that later.
Happy to do them live, Rachel?
No, I lied. That was a lie. I don't like to do lives. Right. But like you were just saying, like it's not like I have to worry about any answer you're going to give, or it's not like I hope you don't have to worry about any answer that I'm going to give, because we're crazy, creepy, like on the same page with so many things, which is unknown of in the dog training world, in case y'all didn't know. I'm down for it. If people watch this and comment on here that they want us to do it, then we'll do it.
How many? If we get how many people?
50,000. Let me stop.
Okay.
Honestly, I'd be happy with one person. One person watches. I'm just not even really low standards. If one person watches it all the way to this point, okay.
And they're like, "Hey, I'd like to see you guys live,
right?
Weekly, or if weekly's too much to do live, we could do every other week or whatever."
Right.
Because I don't know if live, like I don't know if committing to a specific time every week is not.
Yeah.
Because we record these.
Usually on like Monday. Yeah. Well, because we would be doing them on Tuesdays. Because I'm thinking, I can't go live on Monday, but it'd still be Q&A Tuesday, and I usually don't train too much on Tuesdays. Only in the morning sometimes.
It would have to be like a Tuesday. Well, this doesn't have to be in the Q&A. We could stop and then we'll talk about it afterwards.
Okay. Yes. So we're gonna discuss some planning. But seriously, guys, we love doing these, and maybe I'll doing them live if y'all comment and saying you want me to, want us to. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope y'all learned a lot about us today, because I feel like we just talked about us for most of these, because I had 2 opinion questions and then that. Okay, let me stop talking. Okay, hope y'all enjoy these. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Pack Leader Dog and Rachel Kohler Dog Training.
See ya.
Bye.